There was a book more about how society allowed and supported a dictator. She was literally a dictator. And Bomb Queen, it's about a supervillain who runs their own city. Batman has Gotham, Superman has Metropolis. This character had their own city, and their job was to protect it from superheroes. So it was, the whole concept was, we don't allow heroes in this town. So the entire town was about, yeah, we're just criminals, we're evil, we like it this way. And if we want somebody to protect our town, we don't want it to be a hero. You know, we want a villain. So Bomb Queen was the literal queen of that city. And it just really resonated with people.
Hey, comic creators, artists, writers, world builders, this is your call to action. Here at Talkin Comics, we love diving into the stories behind the stories. Whether you're just starting out or you've been in the game for years, we want to hear your journey, your creative process, and what fuels your imagination. So, ready to talk comics with us? Message us or hit the link in our bio and be a guest on Talkin Comics.
I appreciate you being here with me, agreeing to do
course.
this. Mike was amazing for, hooking me up with you.
Of course.
And I was able to interview T.S. Luther and Jared Rowe as well. So your fellow Invader comic guys. So
yeah, I've yet to meet them. I only know them through the social media. That's about it.
Yeah, they were both awesome. But the difference is I actually have your book. So theirs aren't out yet. So
oh my God.
So yours came out
right on.
and my store had it. So it was awesome. They had it. So I was able to pick it up, the day it came out. So I was able to read it. But before all that, welcome to Talkin Comics. Let everybody know who you are, what you do, and a little background.
My name's Jimmie Robinson. I'm a comic writer, artist, creator for the last, almost 30 years, or it might have been over 30 years. Yeah. Since the 90s.
Wow.
So,
that's hard to believe. 90s is 30 years ago, but
it's true. Yeah. 94.
It is.
I had my first self-published comic on the shelves.
Wow.
Actually through
awesome.
Diamond Distribution. Yeah. So it actually, I was through the distributors and everything. So it actually was, I was in the system.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I've been working mainly through Image Comics, and then did some work for Marvel, went back to Image, and now I'm with Invader.
That's awesome. What are some of the other books that you've done?
Oh wow. Most notably, I would say Bomb Queen. I did about 30 issues of Bomb Queen with Image. Jeez, what I've done. The thing with me is I don't have just one book and one genre, so I've done a lot of different things. Kids books and superhero and sci-fi and all this other. I mean, I've been all over the place. But yeah, well, I can just go down the line, I guess. Cyberzone, Amanda and Gun, Avagon, Evil and Malice, Bomb Queen, like I said, Power Lines, The Empty, Junk Rabbit, Wolverine, Wolverine What If,
Sweet.
There was a couple other, there was some crossovers with Savage Dragon, Hack and Slash, stuff like that. But yeah, I'm sure I'm forgetting other things, some anthologies and other, whatever, blah, blah. But yeah, I've done a number of things.
I like the What If series stuff. I pick up those when I see them. I really enjoy those.
Right
I got a few of them, not a whole lot. I collect a lot of Thor too, but I'm trying to do the whole Mighty Thor run, but that's going to take a while. Well, what got you into doing comic books?
What got me into it? I was just kind of just doing my own thing. I mean, I grew up in the hood and there was no comic book stores there or anything. I was just kind of drawing what I saw on TV, the Flintstones and stuff like that.
Cool.
And I was just drawing a favorite scene, and then I draw another scene after that. And I didn't even know I was making sequential art. I was just putting, pages together that way when I was a kid. And that just, I didn't get into comics per se, like really, really get into comics until I was maybe almost early 20s. I'm almost my, late teens, early 20s, whatever. So that's when I actually, officially got in. Like, oh, comic books, comic books. Oh, I get it. Yeah. Other than that, I was always just drawing my own stuff, and that's why my style was so different. I didn't grow up with the DC Marvel. I wasn't not born out of that.
Right.
Some of the books that I got into were independents and underground comics because they were doing some weird places. But yeah, that's where I got it. That's why I got into how I got into it, you might say. And because I had a kind of different style, I never felt I could work on at the big leagues. So I never tried to draw Spider-Man or Batman or whatever like that. Just my style, that was 30 years ago or more. There was a house style. If you couldn't draw Spider-Man like certain ways, you weren't getting the job.
Wow.
I mean, now, there's all kinds of versions of art out there, which is just wonderful. I love seeing all the different versions of interpretations of the of heroes and whatnot like that. But back in the day, if your style was wonky, it was wonky. And so yeah, that kept me kind of in my own little realm, and that's what I focused on. And I just self-published my own books and went from there. And majority of my career has been my own IP. I mean, I've done very little other people's characters.
And you do the writing and the drawing.
Yeah, everything, right? I've learned to write, draw, color, letter, logos, titles, cover to cover. I can do everything, Of course, I still need an editor because half the times I'm screwing up this, that, and the other. As was they say, jack of all trades and master of none. So
yeah, I
exactly.
feel you on that one. I am very good at all that. I'm okay at a lot of different things, but that's the way it goes.
Yeah, I've gotten by, you could say that. And I grew up, I pretty much grew up in public, which means, from my early days, people saw all my mistakes in print. All the learning was just hands-on. There was no official school or anything like that. And I just, realized, oh, that doesn't print right, or that didn't come out right, or this bleed is wrong, or this saturation level is too much, and what works on the page, what doesn't. I basically grew up in public.
Do you work digitally now, or is it all still pen and ink? And
my last book I did was before Artillery. Artillery is pencil, is on paper, traditional. The last thing I did with Image Comics was called Junk Rabbit. It was a 5-issue series. That was my first, and at this point, only digital book I've ever done. I did that all on iPad and Clip Studio with a stylus, and I just kind of thought I'd give it a chance and draw something using a digital format. I also wanted to see if it would give me new tools and tricks that I couldn't use traditionally. And also I was trying to save time, because if you're the writer and the artist and everything else, you're trying to find time to get it all done. You're just spinning so many plates at the same time. And I couldn't really tell that it saved me a lot of time, because there's just too many toys in that toolbox.
Right.
So, yeah,
first is like a box of pencils, and now you got
pencil and paper. Pencil and paper, you draw it, you can fix a few things, you can fix things in post, on Photoshop or whatever, but you pretty much need to lay it down and get it right if you're going to ink right on the page. Not so with digital. You can change your mind any second,
right,
in production, and that just takes away time from just finishing the book.
What's the time frame? Like Artillery, how long did that take you to complete?
Oh, it took me. Artillery was a weird beast because I didn't want to chase the monthly deadlines anymore. So I decided to do Artillery from beginning to end before I even submitted it to anybody. So I finished all 5 issues on paper. And that took me roughly 7 months, you know? And cause it wasn't my main thing at the time. It was the thing I was doing on the side, sort of. And, but I wanted to just have that thing completely done when I went to a publisher and said, look, cause my idea was to release it as a graphic novel. Yeah, Invader, they're breaking it up into issues, which is also good, but the end result will still be the graphic novel that I envisioned.
Will Invader do that as well for
yes,
you?
they're going to do that as well. Yeah, they're going to do that as well. But yeah, I like I said, 7 months kind of a thing, and with Artillery and a couple other books I've done, all I did was pencil it. My pencils are really tight, so I penciled it in red, and then I finished up in blue pencil after that. So, and then scanned it in directly like that and colored right all over the pencils. Because my style is pretty linear. I don't do a lot of cross hatching. There's not a lot of crazy shading going on. Uh, I'm not doing tons of heavy blacks. So it was kind of it was a new technique I was employing for the last, I don't know, a couple of years, where I was just drawing in pencil. 5 weapons. That's right. That's the other series. I did 5 weapons. And T-Run. Yeah. And yeah. Okay. Anyway.
A long list.
Yeah, there's a list. Yeah. I forgot about 5 weapons, which is being repackaged in January by Image Comics. Yeah, they're trying this new manga format now, so they can get more books into bookstores. And I'm one of the guys getting reformatted into that manga format.
Okay.
And the one they chose was 5 weapons. So that'll be out in January, February.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to look for that through Image.
Yeah, out of all the books I've done, 5 weapons was kind of my favorite. I did 10 issues of that. That was cool. So yeah, I got 2 graphic novels out of that, and I had it written out for 20 issues, but the sales weren't kind of there for it, and I moved on to another series.
Gotcha.
It was one of those series.
So you said a minute ago you did everything in pencil for Artillery, scanned it in, then did you color it digitally then?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I did that all in Photoshop, because with Artillery, it was kind of a concept book. So it starts out colored one way, and as you read it and towards the end, the color palette changes. That's why I wanted it out as one graphic novel, because I wanted the reader to experience what was happening in the story was happening literally to the pages that you are reading, physically,
yeah,
physically in the book. So yeah, it's the things that are transpiring in the book has an effect on the pages you're reading. So I was trying to get that across. I mean, the issue you have now, there's no effect yet.
I was about to say, I was trying to think of it, but I was like, I just read it today again, and I didn't notice it.
Nothing.
So, other than the abrupt ending, and that makes total sense now that it's going to be, which I know issue 2 is coming, a couple weeks, right?
Yes. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah. Like I said, I got kind of cut up in pieces to create a series out of it. But I hopefully it's the end goal that I'm really jazzed about with Invader. So, right. But this is their way of getting it out.
Yeah, I like they do all. I think all the publishers are doing that, right? Do the floppy ones, and then they come out with the trade. Like I just bought the Absolute Superman trade because I didn't have any of the single issues, so I had to get the trade for it.
Oh yeah. That's another reason I wanted to do the trade. I'm like, you know, single issues are expensive,
Right.
and sometimes you obviously don't get the whole story. And like I said, I had a certain effect that I was trying to pull off,
Mm-hmm.
and I was hoping that I could just hand it to. I had no idea. I did the entire book, like I said, on spec before even submitting it, because my idea was to just, you know, put it out there as one big block
Right.
of work.
I mean, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how the next. Will it happen in the next issue? Will I start to notice it, or will people start to know?
Not really.
Not until
I
about
think the
issue
change
3.
really, yeah, I think issue 3 is when
Okay.
we really start to see the effects, because things are explained more as well about what's happening with the world and the world of creativity and all that. It's pretty yeah, I kind of did a deep dive on that. It was a lot of fun.
Well,
As the writer's side of me.
I really liked the drawing money and it becoming real. I was really trying to figure that out on my paper here. It didn't work, but
yeah, that was yeah, I had a lot of fun trying to just get that across, the whole aspect of on paper, showing how things become real on paper in the comic. And it was, I don't know, it was weird.
yeah,
It
and
was
or
weird.
the wall or whatever they're
Yeah,
drawing. Well, while we're
right.
talking about it, go ahead, give the artillery spiel for people.
That's right. I guess we are talking about this book without saying what the book. Artillery is part of a heist book, part of an art book, and part of a supernatural kind of book, but it's mainly about art and creativity and what happens when we lose creativity in the world, and how the world's affected by the loss of creativity. And this group of artists get together. They have certain magical abilities with their art to steal that creativity back. So that's the kind of the heist part of it. Is we just had the theft at the
The
Louvre,
Louvre, yeah.
and there was another museum in my region that just had a theft as well.
Oh, I
So,
didn't hear
there's
about
kind
that
of
one.
this going. Yeah, it's my local museum, Oakland Museum of Art, just had like a couple hundred pieces stolen of antiquities. But anyway, yeah, I mean, that's kind of where it is, where there's certain magical artifacts in the world, in museums, that help promote this special creativity in the world for everybody, no matter what your creativity, whatever your creative spill is, not just visual arts, but whatever art and whatever is an art. And it's being stolen from the world. And so this group of artists want to steal it back, you know? And the thing is, I mean, it kind of gives it away on the back of the book of the first issue, I believe, that it's an AI, that we're dealing with the AI here.
Okay, I get it. Yeah, I'll show it. Why not?
Yeah.
There it is. I get what you're saying now, though. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have thought of that if you didn't tell me, but.
Oh wow, yeah, that's yeah, it's kind of given away on the back of the books, but and that was another reason I wanted to do it as a full block, because I wanted it to be mysterious all the way through. But yeah, basically AI is stealing the creativity of art, which we now know is happening in reality.
Right.
And the funny thing is, I did this like 7 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, before AI was even a household name or anything. And when I first showed it around, publishers were like, I don't get it. So now it looks like I'm just piggybacking off the idea instead of being ahead of the curve. Now it looks like I'm just piggybacking off of today's concept. But that was the thing. Yeah, it sat around for a while while I did Junk Rabbit and other things.
Awesome.
So, and then I ran into Invader, and I'm like, hey man, I got a book, it's just sitting here. It's like literally 5 issues done. It's just sitting here.
So how did that happen? Where did you meet them? How did that work?
Yeah, Invader Comics, they're in my region. I'm from Oakland. I was born and raised in Oakland, and Invader Comics is based in Oakland. and there's a comic store called Cape and Cow Comics in Oakland, and they put on a little show convention in Oakland. And it was just kind of this, they were their part, Invader was a sponsor of the show, and the comic store manager just kind of said, "Hey man, have you met these guys, Invader comic guys?" And I'm like, "No." They're like, "Right here in Oakland." I'm like, "Wow, my book is set in Oakland." In Oakland, in the Bay Area. It's like, wow, I'm from Oakland, they're in Oakland, the book's set in Oakland.
Yeah,
it's like
the perfect
kismet.
match. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, "Hey man, why don't I throw this book to them and see what they say?" And they, like I said, the book was just sitting here.
Right.
I was off doing matter of fact, I'm working on another series right now. I've been working on that for the last year, off and on. Been really taking it slow the last 3 years. Been just, I won't say retirement, but it's been a different form of creativity for me. I think Junkrabbit I did with Image was the last like chasing deadlines book I did. That was 2 years ago, I think. Yeah. And yeah. So for the last 2 years I've been like, I'll do books, when I want to, or yeah, and I'm gonna kind of just let it come out naturally. I'm not gonna like, I mean, I'm telling you, man, I used to have to chase deadlines like all the time. It was like my life, for like decades. Like I said, I did 30 issues of Bomb Queen. It was just like, I could not get out from under that rolling, but it's like, you're Sisyphus. You're just always pushing that boulder up a hill.
Right.
It was just a real time sink. And I think after so many years, after decades of that, I was like, you know what? I just want to do a book at my speed, my pace, and let it naturally. And I wanted to do some different things. I didn't want to just do superhero or whatnot. So I'm trying to do other things. And artillery is one of them. That was going to be really off the rails, you might say.
So what do you do to relax or outside of comics?
I make fairy houses.
Okay.
I actually make fairy houses. That's one of the things I like in doing. That's my other creative side, is the textile feel of building and constructing. So I just make fairy houses on my street. I've got like, well, 30 fairy houses out on my street. And it's, with all my neighbors, I know all my neighbors and stuff. And so it's a real community kind of a thing. And so, I make fairy houses. First, it was just my fairy houses in front of my house. And then it became, make one for my neighbor and for that neighbor. And, you kind of design it for what they're into, like one's a librarian and one's a art teacher. Somebody else does pets and, whatever, this, that, and the other. And it just kind of took off. And so now, it's become a kind of a destination location kind of a thing. I mean, you can Google it. I mean, it's on Google Maps even.
That's cool. The fairy
Yeah,
houses
I mean, you
of
you can
Oakland.
Google the what is it? The fairy houses of Point Richmond, Point Richmond fairy houses. I believe that's it, or whatever.
Something like that. I'll Google it.
Yeah,
That's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's on Google
That's
Maps.
awesome.
It's on Google Maps. You can just go straight to the street. I don't know who decided, or who the powers that be said, "Hey man, this is an actual location now that's worthy of being part of Google Earth." And I'm like, my street? So yeah. And yeah, they've made there's been a short documentary movie made, art gallery showings, specials, all kind of groups have shown up, school field trips,
Very cool.
It's just, they come out just to see the fairy houses. It's interesting. So that's kind of what I do on the side, and just fix things. I'm a tinkerer. I'm a handyman. I'm just fixing stuff around the house. my wife says something's broken, I'm like, I'll fix it.
There you go. That's awesome, man. That's so you've been creative forever, with comics and drawing and, do you have any inspirations that you pull from, like from your childhood or?
Well, for fairy houses, I'm sure it's models because when I
Okay.
was a kid, I built models all the time. My mom would just fund me I was into World War II models at the time. So, all the tanks, all the aircraft carriers,
Yeah.
the submarines, building all that stuff. And then I built a diorama for it. So I wouldn't just build it. I'd also, go out and get the dirt from the yard and build all this stuff around it and sticks for trees and all this stuff, just build an entire scene for the model, going through the mud and the dirt and debris, and you weather it, so it's not looking all shiny new. And I learned tips and techniques, how to dry brush and weather things and make pinholes for bullet markings and scratches and all the wear marks and burn effects. It's just I went through all this stuff, and I love model building, and I think that translated into later in life when I started just making fairy houses because I'm using found objects. I'm not just buying stuff off the shelf. My basement is just full of all these different, I just call them like puzzle pieces. And that's, I'm like, hey, this will be a good door, but I don't have a house for it. So then, you build the whole structure around this one thing that inspired you. And that came from that. Comics came from, like I said, watching animation on TV. I was inspired by a lot of the stuff I saw there. I was basically storyboarding is what I was kind of doing. I was drawing what I liked, what I saw, and then I draw the next scene of what I liked, what I saw. It was sequential art, and I just kind of staple the pages together, show my mom, and she's like, well, you made a book. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, whatever. So that kind of, that inspired me in the realm of comics. So yeah, but those are some of the things.
That's awesome. What's something you want people to get out of reading your book or take away from your creations?
From Artillery or any book?
Any of them, or you could just choose Artillery if you want.
Well, because it's different for each book. Like I said, I've done so many different genres. So I'm always looking for some different aspect to convey to the reader. For Artillery, I kind of want to get across that we're all creators in one way or another, whether it's the visual arts, music, just your profession, like you're an artist doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
There's a whole art to it. Yeah, no, there's a whole art to it. There's
right.
a whole understanding the medium of what you're doing, the tools of how you use it, and how you present it to other people. So, I just want to get that across, that everybody has some creativity in some way. Some people come up to me at conventions and they're like, oh, I can't even draw a stick figure. And I'm like, well, it's not a competition like that.
Right.
It's not a competition like that. So that's in Artillery. That's what I'm trying to get across is the creativity in all of us and how that is manifested through certain individuals or how you personally find it. So you'll see in further issues of Artillery where the artists who are the core of the book, though they are doing one thing as their magic ability, they also have other things that they aspire and love to be creative in. So it's not just about being stuck in a lane. It's about all the creativity in the world. So there's that. With other books, I'm trying to get across an allegory or, something like that. With Junkrabbit, it was about, it was cli-fi, what they call nowadays, the climate-based science fiction. It was cli-fi. So it was kind of a climate change book about consumerism and stuff like that. It was pretty cool. With Bomb Queen, it was a cautionary tale. about villains, about society and our worship of villains. So actually, Bomb Queen is funny because I created Bomb Queen in the Bush era, President Bush era, and so it was kind of my response to some of the things I took issue with that. And basically, Bomb Queen was Trump, was Donald Trump kind of a thing. And now, we actually have a Trump. And so, because people will ask me all the time, you should have Bomb Queen versus Trump, and I'm like, well, which I did do with Image, but they get along well. They wouldn't have to fight. They're just totally fine. But it was a cautionary tale of be careful of the type of leader you wish for, because it was a book more about how society allowed and supported a dictator. I mean, she was literally a dictator. And Bomb Queen, it's about a supervillain who runs their own city. Batman has Gotham, Superman has Metropolis. This character had their own city, and their job was to protect it from superheroes. So the whole concept was, we don't allow heroes in this town. So the entire town was about, yeah, we're just criminals. We're evil. We like it this way. And if we want somebody to protect our town, we don't want it to be a hero. we want a villain. So Bomb Queen was the literal queen of that city. And it just really resonated with people. But a lot of people didn't get the joke. They didn't get the sarcasm in there. And so people just love Bomb Queen. It ran, like I said, 30 issues, pretty much. And it did really, I still get royalty checks for that series. It's crazy. They love how, they're the villain, and everybody loves a villain for some whatever reason. They're outlandish. They do what they want. Bomb Queen, being that she's a woman, was this scantily clad, evil, killed everybody, wins every time.
So it's still in print then through Image?
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, that's in print in like 2 other languages as well, and hardcover, omnibuses, and and deluxe editions, and yeah, it's been.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Bomb Queen. If you find it, I mean, somebody's still buying it. Like,
right, you're still getting a check for it, right?
I'm still getting checks for stuff I did over 10 years ago.
That's every creator's dream right there.
Well, but sometimes I wonder, who's buying this? Like, are the right people buying this, or are there people who just aren't getting it? That, she's out there waving Nazi and Confederate flags and like, yeah. And I'm like, you guys don't get it? I mean, I even gave her the Hitler, side part where one eye is kind of covered.
My goodness, I'm gonna have to check this book out.
Yeah, in her city, and in her city, she's got all these banners of her up on the buildings and everything, and it's just like, and she just, she basically rules this. The trick, the twist of it was that it was government sanctioned, and that was an interesting aspect to it, because it was the entire United States said, yeah, we want that city to exist, where criminals just get to do whatever they want over there in that city. Because, everybody always says, if you can take pedophiles, rapists, murderers, and whatever, and just stick them on an island, away from Main Street, makes our street safer. But then who would rule that island? And that's where Bomb Queen came in. She was the ruler of that island. And you're allowed to go there and do whatever the hell you want, but you're not allowed to leave the city limits. So the government, it was government sanctioned. Her city was like allowed to be a crime-free zone as long as you stayed within the city limits. And the problem was with the government was that it became too powerful, because if the prison population, I think we're in the forgot how many millions of people we have incarcerated. I don't know, 2 to 4 million people incarcerated in the United States. If that became an actual political party, block or whatever, it would have some ability to move the needle.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, when you control that kind of power, like, hey man, if you want me, I can just release 2 million criminals back onto your streets, or you're going to do what I say, kind of a thing. So it was also a political book. That was the satire part. So Bomb Queen has gone against President Bush, President Obama, has gone against President Biden, and it's gone against President Trump. Because like I said, it did several years of that. So it's always been the government's always trying to get control back of that city. And Bomb Queen's like, no, it's my city. You gave it to me, my city. So there you go.
There we go.
Yeah.
Check out Bomb Screen and Artillery. You know, that's awesome. What advice would you give like inspiring creators today that are starting out, that, you know, and tie in like something you know now you wish you knew when you started?
Well, I started, you know, in a whole completely different era, you know, didn't have the internet, literally did not have
internet.
the internet. There was no social media. There was no anything. I, you know, hand sold my books directly to comic stores, cold sold and consignment, you know. I printed my very first book up on myself at a local printer and just took the copies to stores. And I still remember one store saying, man, this is cool. This is all right. Is it in diamond? And I said, what's a diamond? You know, I literally just was, I had no idea about the entire comic industry. And I had to learn all that on the fly, you know, and so that was a weird experience. But yeah, today, or what could I have done differently? Well, first off, what I could have done differently was probably stuck to one genre, one character, so I can get known more for that guy, you know, the Todd McFarlane Spawn or Eric Larson Savage Dragon, you know, or whatnot. But yeah, I keep hopping around so much. It's like, oh, Jimmy's got a new book. What is it? Oh, it's about some kid in power lines, and he's, you know, this black kid, he has superpowers, but they only geographically work only when he's in a white neighborhood. You know, so I'm like, it's like, oh, that's cool. And then there's another book comes out. Oh, what's Jimmy doing? Oh, he's doing this thing about climate change and everything. It's, you know, it's just whatever. So I kind of wish I would have stuck with one instead. I could have just continued Bomb Queen, but I just got tired of
the
violence.
Oh, okay.
Of death and violence, and like I said, it became fact after a while. The whole cautionary tale about, you know, worshiping villains is just like, well, you know, it's kind of what's happening in certain ways. I mean, not to get political, even though the book was very political, because like I said, I had to have politics. What kind of administration will allow a city of crime on U.S. soil?
Right.
So it was always a battle with the government, kind of a thing. That's that aspect. Other aspects I would tell people today is to just do the book. And it's social media now. And it's such a weird environment. It is so weird now, compared to when I started. Conventions, even convention scene has changed dramatically in the last 30 years. It's really hard for me to give advice to people nowadays. There's so many new tools, new avenues, and it's great. I love that you can just kickstart and crowdfund your own book now. You know, that's just amazing. There's just things out there that I love, all the new tools, digital tools and all that. And now we have AI, you know, people are using AI. I mean, you can even use AI with your own work. So you can like actually draw something that you did draw, and then AI becomes, you know, this digital assistant that then turns it, 3D models it for you, or creates more pages using your character design. I mean, it's going to get to that point where AI is just going to look like, or AI will be thought of like how people use Photoshop today. You know,
right?
It'd be like, hey man, you use Photoshop? Yeah. Nobody even blinks an eye. You know,
I've been seeing a bunch of videos pop up the last few days. I guess Adobe did a big like release last week like a premiere or, you know, like an announcement video, like hype show or something. And they were showing some of the tools where they've incorporated AI into Photoshop and Illustrator and Adobe, all their products, and just the way that light works, and you can make light work in there now. And like, I mean, I'm you know, I'm like very low level graphic design work myself, you know, but like what they're doing is way above me. But it was just amazing that, you know, like you said, they're using AI as like an assistant, you know, or as a tool within Photoshop, right?
Right.
And it's going to be very hard to tell, you know. It's crazy now because since I've been doing the podcast, you know, which is not very long. I mean, we started this, I think our first video upload was March of this year.
Oh,
you know, March
okay.
30th, and my daughter and I do a weekly show, and
Nice.
we have a lot of fun with it, and that's where it really started. We created this little mascot called Panel Pete. I wrote my own comic book. That's the cover for it.
Excellent.
Right there.
I was wondering about that.
So this is the Chronicles of Panel Pete. It's coming soon.
All right, good.
We are beyond excited to share the Chronicles of Panel Pete, a brand new comic coming in early 2026. Written by Talkin Comics podcast host AJ Reimann and co-written and illustrated by Mike Algier, Cards Comics. Panel Pete is a heartfelt comic about courage, imagination, and the hero within. Sure, he may stir up a little mischief, but at the end of the day, he's the hero we all need. Expect variant covers, exclusive merch, and much more. Follow the links in our bio, hit that notify me on launch on Kickstarter, and join us on this adventure.
I hired an artist, a guy I interviewed, Mike Algier from Dork Art Studio. He's doing a fantastic job. We're about halfway done, so I'm excited. But I almost did that just to learn the process, right? Because I'm doing all these interviews with creators. It inspired me to create myself. I didn't ever consider myself a writer, but I wrote a script, and, you know, my artist is doing all the artwork and the lettering, so he's helping me with a little bit of the wording, you know, here and there. So that's been awesome. I'm giving him a co-write credit. But it's just amazing to me that you can see now all the AI stuff on like social, and like I can pick up on it a lot better now. And I'm like, why is it all, you know, it's crazy. So I've been kind of anti-AI, but I don't think we're going to be able to get away from it.
No, you're not.
You know?
I'm not a fan of AI, but I'm also a realist, and I just cannot fathom how AI is going to go backwards.
Right.
A genie's not going back in a bottle, and kids growing up today won't even have that ethical concept in their head about using AI, Chat GPT, or Sora, or anything like that. It's just like, well, that's just how the world is. Why would I, you know, why would I think differently?
Right. I mean, it's just like when we were growing up, it's, you know, computers and, you know, Microsoft Word and autocorrect and
exactly.
We adapted, I guess.
Yeah, everyone's going to adapt, and that's just going to be the way it is, and it's fine. I mean, you know, I could say there will be a swing, you know, a pendulum swing the other way in certain aspects. You know, kind of like how kids today are searching out vinyl, you know.
Right.
You know, how there's suddenly there's this market for like, yeah, man, I want the vinyl record.
Right.
You know, there'll be niche markets for that kind of real, true, original form, or, you know, the coolness of having that Polaroid camera again. You know.
Yeah, my daughter wants one of those. Like,
exactly. Yeah, you look at the kid and you're going like, you want a flip phone?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, man, a flip phone. It's like, oh. So there will be some pendulum swinging, you know, when kids grow up immersed in AI, where they're going like, there's got to be more to life than this. And there will be a group where it says, you know what? No, I want something real. I want, you know, something tangible.
That's when they can find my comic. No, I'm just kidding.
That's right.
Or yours.
That's exactly right. So, yeah, I mean, you asked about advice to aspiring creators now, and I think that's, do the book. Literally, like what you're doing, you know, and yeah, it's not gonna be perfect. It's not gonna be right the first time. Not even after the 50th time.
Right.
It'll still be a learning experience. And that it's just an ongoing process. That is the case. Even with AI, it's going to be an ongoing process. Tools evolve, skills evolve, people's life experience evolves. So, what inspires you now may not be the same thing that inspires you 10 years from now. You know, Often I like to make books that I don't see on the shelves. So that's why I like to hop around, because I'm like, why hasn't anybody made a book for girls? So, because I had a daughter, I was a single parent daughter, and there was no comics I could find for her. So I made, Evil and Malice, which was like a kid's book, but for girls.
Awesome.
So I was like, yeah, I want to do something different. And sometimes that's what you do. What inspires you to one part in your life it may not happen in another part of your life, or your inspirational change. That's all. Yeah.
100%.
So
I've got 2 girls, so yeah, I understand that one. It's hard to, especially when you're a single parent, girl.
yeah.
I was for the first one, and it was tough, especially, I saw somebody else just recently talk about it. It was somebody famous. I can't remember who now, but they were talking about, the lack of, um, just like changing tables in men's restrooms, right? Like
Yeah.
how nowadays you walk in, that they're everywhere nowadays. But when I was with she's 24 now, but when she was 2, you didn't have a lot of that.
Nope.
You just had to make do somewhere.
Right.
That's crazy.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. Everything changes, and that's the thing for certain. Everything's going to change. So it's kind of hard to give advice.
It is
to creators.
But what you said is just do it.
Done.
Right. Just get it done.
Yeah, get it done. Even if it's, like right now, like I said, I'm working in a different kind of a mindset now. I'm working on a book, a series right now. It has no publisher. It has no goal, for, I'm going to get this to the Dark Horse, or I'm going to get this to Image, or Mad Cave now, or whatever. It doesn't have that. I don't have that going on. I'm making a book for me,
Right.
and then I'll find the audience for it later.
I'm making the book for me, and to learn, and for the podcast, just to, for the content. I can't wait to go to conventions for the podcast and have a book as well, so just to the network of people that I'm, seeing and meeting is just amazing. The comic community, with like yourself and TS and Mike, and, I could list 100 more. And hopefully I'll have them all on here eventually, but I'm doing it for me. So it doesn't really have a goal other than just to learn the process and just to put something out there. And I've already got issue 2 started planning. So,
Love it.
An origin story.
Love
Crazy.
it.
But what conventions do you get to? Do you do many conventions?
I'm mostly on the West Coast. I have done New York, SPX in Baltimore. But I'm mostly on the West Coast with WonderCon, Emerald City, San Diego Comic-Con, stuff like that, LA Comic-Con, Long Beach Comic-Con, and local shows around here. I'm telling you, AJ, I think roughly 5 years ago, I just kind of started falling out of favor of presenting at shows. It's fun. I love it. It's great. It's draining.
It's a lot of work.
It can be draining, and it is wild. And after a while, I was not the young punk kid anymore, trying to, I was not burning the candle at both ends anymore. And I'm like, you know what? No, I want to sleep at night. I want to.
I want to go to bed.
I want to go to bed. I'm not going to stay up doing all these display things and all this stuff. And I also realized I didn't need to the money as much from conventions. I mean, I do like, whatever, but
like money,
there's some
right.
people I know, they go to conventions and are like, they have to make a certain amount of money or that convention's a failure. And I'm like, really? It's like what you were just saying. Hey, there's networking. I'm meeting all these people. I'm doing all this stuff. I mean, you can go to a convention. You can actually have a panel discussion of your podcast during the discussion
Right.
with your book
Right.
and all this stuff. I mean, you've got those applications that will work for you. At a certain point, though, I was going like, I don't have to be here. My book, is like in 3 different languages and sold around the world.
And fun, right. You don't need that, money from the convention to make it to the next convention or the next meal or whatever. And
exactly.
I had to fight myself on that a little bit because I used to own a hobby shop, like a card game store. And I sold that and I transitioned to miniature game accessories. And I used to do conventions, like gaming conventions. And I would sell these accessories and I would do like shirts and other like merchandise stuff for the conventions themselves. And, I did a huge one. I spent, $1,000 on the booth and made like $200 the whole weekend. Like it broke us, and then COVID and it's like, I was like, so I kind of just, COVID basically killed us and lost a little motivation, got into that mindset. So I'm really looking forward to doing the convention scene again, as a booth. But I had to fight myself on, okay, you're a podcast. You don't have an item to sell, which, I guess kind of the book will help with that. So like you're going to spend whatever the booth fee is, but it's advertising. You have to get in the advertising mindset. You're advertising, your sales are subscribers, right? Or likes on, your followers, right? And it took me a minute, to process that and change my mind, my gear, switch gears to think that way. So I mean, I've got cards printed and I'll do stickers and the book and we'll do little stuff. And, if we don't make, cover the booth fee, it's okay. Like it's advertising. Right. And I'm looking forward to having that kind of mindset to not have to be like, after day one, be like, dang, we still got to make $300 tomorrow to break even. We drove 14 hours to be here, so I'm looking forward to that. And we're going to start in, I think April's going to be our first one locally. And then we have a big one Memorial Day up in Michigan because the guy that's printing my book lives in Traverse City, Michigan, owns a print shop.
Good.
And so he's going to print it for me and I'm going to do the first major release there. So that'll be fun. But
great.
Hopefully we'll cross paths at a convention sometime. I've got a few more fun questions, but before that, is there anything that you want to talk about or need to talk about or that I didn't ask you, something that I didn't ask you want to cover? Or I just like giving people the opportunity because I hate anybody to walk away from this and be like, oh, I wish you would ask me this, right? Or we needed to talk about artillery and we never talked about it, or so, or how awesome Invader Comics is, right?
Yes. I don't know anything off the top of my head. I mean, we've been talking. We've been covering a lot of bases here.
It's been great. I loved it. I think it's been great.
Yeah, I can't think of anything off the bat. Yeah.
Well,
what are these other questions you have?
All right, so these are just fun ones. So, do you remember your first favorite superhero or comic character?
Yeah, that would be Rom Space Knight.
Okay. Was that one you created, or was that your first favorite one?
Oh no, Rom Space Knight's a Marvel character.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, the weird thing is, real quick aside, like I said, I never grew up with comics, but when I got 17, 18 or whatever, my mom, she worked at a place and one of her coworkers owned a comic book store. It's what he did on the side or whatever. And when he saw she would bring some of my stuff there and he's like, oh, this is cool. There's, this, that, and the other. And she's like, no, I didn't know any of that. And so he would start sending books to her to then give to me when they meet at the job or whatever. And so I had this comic book angel, you might say. and I would get books from my mom's coworker, and it'd have a little post-its on it, like, notice the art here, notice the coloring there, like, see this here. This is called Baxter paper. They're starting to use this new paper now. It's not just newsprint anymore. This, that, and the other. And he sent me whole runs of stuff. And one of the things he sent me was ROM Space Knight.
That's awesome.
ROM.
So he knew you were a creative kid and was trying to help you out. He was your superhero, I guess.
Yeah, comic book angel.
Yeah,
and
comic
to this
book
day,
angel.
I've never met him.
Really?
I've never met him. I don't know what store he owned or co-owned or whatever, but yeah, he would give entire runs to my mom.
Awesome.
Teen Titans runs with Wolfman and stuff like it. It's just like, Perez Titans runs and other things. And I was just like, that's when I first started really getting into comics. I'm like, oh, there's a whole world here and everything. But ROM Space Knight was
awesome.
Which is interesting because it's weird. It's based off of a toy that was created by Mattel. And so there's a lot of people, even to this day, want the ROM Space Knight comic to return, but there's all these legal issues with Mattel Toy Company about making a comic book for it.
Wow.
So yeah, a ROM Space Knight, ROM Space Knight.
That's
K-I-N-N-T.
awesome.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look for those now. So do you remember the first comic book you ever read? Was it one of those, or do you remember the first one?
Maybe I don't remember the first one.
I know I struggle answering that question too.
Yeah.
A lot of people have said, and this is true for me too, my first introduction to anything cartoony comic, in the written form was a Sunday newspaper, right? That was mine.
Yeah, I didn't even have that. I think I remember being in some kind of thrift store or, whatever, and old pulpy World War II comics, Haunted Tank and stuff like that. GI Combat and all that.
Yeah, I've got a couple of those. They're awesome.
Yeah, the cover would actually be torn off, because, back at a certain period, if you go way back to the 60s, they had returnables.
Oh.
So, because the returnable market before what we now have is the distribution market, there used to be comics on all the newsstands.
Right.
You go there and they were on the newsstands because they were returnable. So
Gotcha.
one of the ways newsstands and whatnot did when they return it is they'd rip the cover off, and that's how you return it to the publisher to say this, they write off the loss and all that, but they rip the cover off or they hole punch it, and that was the returnable market. And that's why comics are collectibles, because it's hard to find some that are still intact. But then in the 70s, the distribution market came out, and then comics were sold exclusively in comic stores and all that. And then people were like, I can't find it at 7-Eleven anymore, or the grocery store, or the newsstand. And like, yeah, you got to go to a comic store now. But my earliest ones would have been the GI Combat and Haunted Tank and stuff like that, because I found them in some kind of an old thrift store or whatever. And they're all, battered and tattered and and it was like way out of sequence. I mean, I just was like, what is this? Blah, blah, blah. So it was
and it fit your modeling then too, right? Building the models and stuff with the tanks. So that's cool. Dioramas.
Yep.
It's awesome.
Yep.
Do you have a favorite current series? Obviously, Artillery.
No, I never use my books as a favorite anything, because I always hate what I do. I mean, as soon as I finish the page, I'm like, oh, this page will work. And then an hour later, I'm like, that page sucks so bad. Currently, I'm like, Something is Killing the Children. That's a fave of mine. That was cool. And then there was, oh my God, I hate it when I can't remember books off the top of my head. The one with the writer. Oh my God, why can't I remember it now? Whatever. It came out from Image, and he's a writer, he's an author, and he's writing this book, the book coming to life and all that stuff. I like that. I don't have any series in particular. I like single issues and whatnot. Into the Woods I like. There's a couple of Dark Horse things I'm digging. And Witch Hazel, let me see if I get this right. Witch Hazel's Variety, is it show or tour? I'm gonna go. There's only one issue out so far. But Witch Hazel, and it's this witch. She's this little cartoon witch, kind of a cute witch. And her name's Hazel, Witch Hazel. Kind of a thing. But yeah, stuff like that. And there's a couple of manga I was reading. There's some manga I was reading a bit ago, Akiga, and oh Jesus Christ, Kagami something city, whatever. It's about death. They're completely fascinated with death and your time of death. So bunch of agents that they know when you're gonna die, and they come and talk to you about, hey man, you're gonna die tomorrow, so we need to get your affairs in order. Blah blah. It's these agents who deal with people who are gonna die.
Man, wouldn't that be nice? I mean, that would be bad, but it'd be nice too to have your affairs in order.
Yeah, but it's mostly about the lives of the agents and how they deal with the stress of like, oh, I gotta go tell this little girl she's gonna die tomorrow. She's gonna get ran over by a bus. So I just thought the whole concept was like, wow, that's kind of like a Death Note thing, but with agents, with IRS agents involved. Like, hey man, you got to get your affairs in order because you're gonna die tomorrow. You only have so many hours left. Why don't you sign this paper, this, like, oh, wow. But yeah, I'm kind of all over the place. I don't have a specific, like, I'm reading absolute Superman all the time, or whatever. I'm always hopping around every time I go to the comic store. Something else catches my eye.
Yeah, I've got way too many. My box to read down here is way too long. And then people keep mailing me stuff, which is fine, which I love, but it's just like, oh,
right.
okay. And then they email me books, to review for the podcast, and I'm like, okay. So I had a goal of reading one a day this year, and I'm
wow.
I'm still, I think as of like Friday, it was day 308, and I was at 323. So
how do you feel about that? I mean, when you're reading a book, you're like, do you really get lost in that book, or you're like, well, that was cool, and then I completely forget about it when I pick up the next book?
Some of both. Like, depends on what it is. So I'm a huge Thor fan. You could probably tell. I got a lot of Thor stuff. Well, usually when this poster's not there, there's like usually 4 or 5 Thor comics back there. There's the poster there, and then the hammer.
Oh, I see it. Okay.
So I'm a huge. So I read his stuff, and I've been trying to read the backlog. Like, I have the little books, the Master Series books. I'm trying to read like from the beginning.
Good.
Those are kind of hit or miss. Some are good, some are bad. It's hard to say. Some I get really into, and then some I forget, and then I get it the next month. Like, it's in my pull, like in my box, right? When I go to the comic shop and get the pull list, I'm like, oh yeah. And then I read it, and I'm like, oh yeah, this was awesome. Like, I keep going. So I'm really into, like, the Absolute Batman's really good.
Right.
The Deadly Tales of the Gunslinger Spawn is probably my favorite right now. Like, series. I've really enjoyed that. I like Westerns, so I grew up, my dad, we watched the spaghetti Westerns every day.
Right.
Right. So I really am digging that one. And some I forget. I love a one shot. I read Dick Tracy, the new Dick Tracy, because that was like the first ones I remember as a kid. I enjoy those. I'm trying to think what else. But sometimes I just forget about it. Like, okay, it was good, whatever. Next. And I mark them read and complete in my League of Comic Geeks. And
Good.
I have found what's really hard for me is I don't like reading digitally. On my computer, right? So, because a lot of people that I interview, they'll email me a copy of their book, and I can do it, but it's just I don't enjoy it. It's because even my artist, right? So he sent me. I've been reading my comic digitally because he keeps sending me pages, which is an amazing thing, to something that I write is now I have artwork for. But he sent me like he put a little like art book together, The Art of Dork Arts Comics. Sorry.
Okay.
And being able to open this book, and I messaged him the same thing earlier today. Being able to, like, I've seen it digitally. I've read a few of his things digitally because when he first was on the podcast, he sent it to me. But being able to open the book and like look at it on paper is just so much better to me. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't understand it, but it just looks so much better, like in a printed form to me.
Right.
Especially in this one. Like this is another one he did. This is his graphic novel, Blackhurst. The Saints of Blackhurst, Volume 1.
Huh. Mm-hmm.
And but just being able to look in here, and of course, you know, his art style is going to be the style of my book too, right? You know, the one I wrote.
Right.
So it's really cool just seeing this on paper and going through and like, all right, this is going to be really cool when it comes in. Just like this, you know, print that I got. Seeing that, you know, I got that last week.
Right.
I just love seeing it, you know, in person.
Yeah.
Right.
Digital is a weird world. I'll give you that.
It'd be a lot cheaper if I liked digital. I'll say that.
Yeah. It's just that it sometimes the panel layout just doesn't work the way, you know, a lot of times creators are overlapping certain panels, or the way it flows through the page, you know, is something that could only be done in print when you see the entire page, not a panel at a time or whatnot. It can be hit and miss depending on how a book is laid out. I mean,
I try to curb that a little with like if they send me a PDF, because you can put it in like the reading layout, the book layout.
Right.
That helps some, but it's still, like I said, I don't. So actually, I mean, I've read more than 320 because I don't count those because they're not in league, right? So I can't mark them as read. Like I was able to read or mark Artillery as read because it's in league. So I was super happy about that. So
got you. Yeah, digital is it's an interesting world. I had to review a lot of digital books. I was an Eisner judge, so I had to go over like 300 some odd books in a couple of months.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's like, I was one of 5 Eisner, you know, the Eisners.
Yeah.
So the Eisner judge, I've been an Eisner judge twice.
Sweet.
Well, one was for comic retailing and the other one was for comic books. So the Spirit of Retailer Award I was a judge for, and the regular Eisner Award I was a judge for. And yeah, one of the categories is digital and online and web comics. And yeah, I had to sit there and just hours and hours and hours of especially with web comics, because you know they might have a thing they've been working on for the last 2 years if you had to go all the way back to the beginning.
Right.
But the thing with Eisner's though is you're only nominated for that year. So I didn't have to read the entire body of work. I just had to read from January to December of that year I was judging for. So, but still, the digital, it worked for some, and I could tell when others were on paper and then broken into digital. So I could see that, like, they started one way and then broke it in digital and then went all digital. And you could see the transformation there. So it is hit and miss. And sometimes, you know, like you just said, it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah, it'd be a lot cheaper.
It's a lot cheaper to read, and it's a lot cheaper to produce.
Right.
So some people have, you know, moved formats, and that could be, you know,
I mean,
a real change in the book.
I'll definitely offer mine digitally, but like, you know, I don't know. I just love having the books, and I'm running out of space in here, which is crazy. I didn't think that would happen, but you know.
Yeah, Image Comics, when my last books with them, they're all also, we had a deal for the digital rights as well. And so everything I did also went to digital, but I didn't have to handle any of it. You know, Image has their own in-house people that re-optimize it and reformat it and all that. Five Weapons, however, would have been an easy one because in Five Weapons, I purposely drew every panel landscape, just like we're looking at right now. Every panel. So you just go right down the page. There was no hopping around or anything like that. So it was, I treated it like if you went to the movie theater, the screen does not change at all. So if you can't get it on that screen, you have to reposition the camera of how it's being shot. So I purposely made everything landscape tier, and that's an easy one to make in the digital because it's just the same panel size constantly.
Right. Yeah, that wouldn't be bad. Then it'd almost be like a little, you could autoplay it like a movie. That'd be kind of fun.
A bit, yeah. It was fun though because certain characters speak before other characters, so you're constantly moving the POV camera around to make sure it still reads left to right.
Ooh.
Even though the panel was not changing. The panel layout's not changing. So that was a lot. As a writer, it was fun in several ways, and that was one of them.
Where was that one published?
Image Comics, Five Weapons, and that was cool because it was kind of like a Sherlock Holmes kind of a thing. It was about somebody that used their brain more than their brawn.
Right.
Yeah, it's basically real quick. It's a school for assassins. A new kid comes to school and he has no weapon. So everybody in the school is all weaponized except him, but he still wins. The five weapons are the five different school clubs: the gun club, the knife club, the archery club, knives, staves, exotic weapons, whatever. So, and of course, there's class presidents in each club, and he always gets into trouble with each class president. And so then the whole thing becomes, how can you beat somebody with a knife without using a knife? It was my kind of anti-violence book. I didn't want I didn't want a character that was super powerful. I wanted somebody that was super smart. Because if Sherlock Holmes was in a gunfight, you'd still bet on Sherlock Holmes.
Yep. For sure.
Sherlock Holmes will still figure out your weakness and get on top of you and still, beat. And that was kind of the thing I did with Five Weapons. So made it, like I said, all panels. And I put clues in there. And so by the end of each issue, the character would always turn, break the fourth wall, and look right at the reader and said, "Oh, I could beat this person. And do you know how I'm going to do it?" And then you have to wait for the next issue. And so all the clues were there. It was what they call fair game mystery,
right?
Where the clues are presented, as long as you can figure out, this, that, and the, oh, this kid, has a peanut allergy. I get it. Or this kid is nearsighted, or this kid, has a blind spot, or whatever it is. And yeah, that was fun. As a writer, that was the times when I really liked writing more than drawing.
Right.
Was figuring out the mystery and solving the puzzle. How could I beat somebody with a bow and arrow? How can I outsmart this, that, and the other, and show the reader and get away with it each issue? So yeah, it was what's the other kid? Encyclopedia Brown, I think it was. Whatever. It was the kid version of Sherlock Holmes. Some kid that just was smarter than everybody else.
That's fun.
Anyway, sorry. I'm just going off.
Hey,
on a
that's
tangent.
fine. Like, that sparked a lot of conversation, which was cool because it even made me start thinking about, like, I read a comic last night and I was like really not into it at all. And I was like, okay, probably won't buy another one of those. But then I read, like Absolute Batman, the annual, and I'm like, oh my God, it's amazing.
Yeah. They'll do it to you, man. A good comic will hook you in.
I've been loving it. So I'll hopefully, I need like 30 some more before the end of the year. So one every 2 days. All right. If you could live in any comic book universe, which one would it be?
Yeah. What comic universe would it be? Wow.
I stumped him.
Yeah. And we're talking about the universes, right? Not particularly defined by the character in the book, but
Right. You know,
the
like
universe that the character exists in.
yeah, like Gotham City, Metropolis is one.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. Hmm.
I don't want to live in
Yeah.
Marvel because you know crap happens like every day. Like
Yeah. You don't even know which planet
like
you're
Kansas
on.
City's not even safe anymore. Godzilla just destroyed it in the
Yeah,
Marvel
yeah.
universe. So
I guess I would live in maybe I Hate Fairyland universe.
my daughter will love you out for that one.
Oh, really?
She loves I Hate Fairyland. She's probably too young to read it, but I also let her read Harley Quinn. So
there you go.
I take the Gary V approach to parenting. So
well, yes, matter of fact, Scotty Young did one of my variant covers for Junk Rabbit.
Really, I will.
Yeah, he did one of my variant covers.
That is gonna be a holy grail I'm gonna find now.
Junk Rabbit. Oh yeah, the variant covers. Man, when Image said, "Oh man, you need to have 5 variant covers for each issue," I was just like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, yeah, man, I need to draw 4 more covers. I'm like, oh,
you had to do them. You didn't get other. You had to draw them?
I did get some. Yeah, I got Scotty Young.
So
that
was on you to do, though. It wasn't Image didn't.
No. They wouldn't got him.
Oh,
okay, that was cool. So yeah, Scotty Young, Mark Bud, she's Gene, not Gene Ha. That fuck. No, I'm sorry.
You're fine.
I'm just gonna screw up that I missed his name. Well, anyway, I had a few guest artists, but it was mostly me. And then some blanks, you know.
Yeah, so I'm doing some blanks. I'm doing this one, and then I'll go ahead and show you. I don't want to show it, but because it's mine. But so this is the cover that Mike Algier did, right? This is one,
right,
and then that's the cover that I did. So the whole premise to the book is Panel Pete, who's a comic bubble, lives in a comic book, and he can come alive. So currently, like in this photo, he's inside a comic, but in the dollar box.
Nice.
Right?
The dollar bin, yeah.
And,
the dollar bin.
but he gets out and creates mischief. But he loves reading comics. So like in some of the panels of the book, he gets out at night and he'll go and he'll read comics on the shelf and just leave them on the floor. So the shop owner walks in and the store's a mess, right? Nice. So part of my comic is set in a comic shop.
Nice.
One of the cool things I'm doing is a lot of the people that I'm interviewing, instead of using like, Marvel and Hulk titles or whatever, I'm putting their books on the shelf. So it's filled, all the shelves in my comic book inside the comic shop are filled with indie creator comic books.
Nice.
So that's kind of a cool thing. All right. So the universe, did we pick one? Did you pick one?
I Hate Fairyland.
I Hate Fairyland. That's right. Yeah. Scotty Young. Right. You need to hook me up with Scotty Young so he could do an alternate cover for me. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
My daughter would lose it, which we did have, Stephanie Phillips. We got to interview her a couple weeks ago. She did the Harley Quinn first 28 of that or something. And she's doing a bunch of other stuff. She-Hulk, Planet She-Hulk and that. And my daughter was geeking out, obviously because Harley Quinn, and she had a great time. But her second favorite right now is Scotty Young. So I'm going to have to figure that out one day. All right. Everybody asks this question, but if you could have any superpower, which would you choose?
Oh, yeah. This is that psychological question. And for me, it would be invisibility. So, yeah.
All right.
That's a famous, I won't say famous, but that's a psychological question that some therapists use. If you have the ability to fly or if you have the ability to be invisible, which one you choose, because it says a lot about the type of person that would choose one or the other. So
I didn't even realize I have a therapeutic podcast now.
There you go.
I should I need to add that to my, I don't know, whatever, the algorithms. I'll learn that stuff one day.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Which comic book character would you want as your personal sidekick? Any character could be your sidekick.
Wow. Any
of them. Panel
Hmm.
Pete could be your sidekick.
Panel Pete.
You don't know who he is yet. I'll send you a copy when it's done.
Right. So that's a word balloon, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And I call him
There's
Panel Pete.
okay.
Name.
Are there actual words in the balloon, or
No,
it
it's
is
just a
just the
face.
face?
Just a face. And then like
Cool.
a lot of my like the episodes my daughter and I do, I do graphic design. So like I'll just put pieces together and put them in different
Mhm.
poses and give them different looks and disguises and
Right.
for the
Right.
thumbnails and stuff. So just fun. I think one I did
Oh, cool.
when I did, like I did he does a pick of the week. So like he picked Dick Tracy, so I gave him a yellow hat, kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
So,
That goes with them. Yeah. Excellent.
I did a Hulk one, where he's just got muscles and he's all green instead of yellow. Just fun stuff. I have fun with it. I always love it. Just the possibilities are endless, right? For a mascot. And I loved having one. That was something I was always missing in my store. And I tried to create a dice, kind of similar. It was a dice character, gave him legs and a face, but never really took off, never really worked. But this one seems to be working pretty well for me. So
Good.
hopefully
Good.
he's got a comic book coming out, so it's got to work.
Hey, that's the best, man. That is the best.
Right?
Wow.
All right. So what character would you pick for a sidekick?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't know. Well, gotta admit, Squirrel Girl is kind of rattling in my head there. Kind of liking the Squirrel Girl.
There you go.
Yeah, it's kind of like as long as she has her squirrel sidekick with her.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go Squirrel Girl.
Squirrel Girl it is.
Yeah, Squirrel Girl.
All right. This is the last one. If your life were a comic book, what would the title be?
Oh yeah. Jeez. I guess Kitty Adventures, Kitty Adventures, because I like Hello Kitty a lot.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Kitty Adventures, Jimmie's Kitty Adventures, or something like that.
Jimmie's Kitty Adventures. All right.
Yeah.
You got the title of your next book you need to work on?
I mean, I'm currently I'm spinning plates again. I'm trying to write. Now I'm in the writing phase, like you. I'm writing all these different books, and I don't know which one I'm gonna shift gears and actually work on. But I'm loving the idea of outlining and writing an entire series.
Awesome.
I mean, yeah, I might not do it, but I don't know. It's a good practice, I guess.
Right.
I mean, I just wrote one, got up to issue 3 and said, I'm not going to draw this. This is crazy. I'm not going to draw all these buildings and stuff. No way. I'm not going to draw these cityscapes.
Wow.
It's like, I'm not going to draw it. That's not something I want to do. So I'm like, find something I could write that I could also draw that's easy. Panel Pete.
There you go. I'm working on another script, so
there you go.
I'm doing an origin story. It's been really cool because we actually had to. My artist and I went back and forth one day on just the idea, trying to come up with the idea because we were trying to pick. All right, he lives in a comic book that's in the dollar box, but what's the comic? So I'm like, well, maybe it should be his origin story, right? So we went back. We did a whole like planning session almost on what the origin story would be and what the cover of that would look like.
Now when you're writing and conceptualizing the thing, are you thinking, because this is something that just recently happened to me, are you thinking ongoing, or you have a beginning, middle, end, or what's your concept of
for this a series or just the actual one book?
Well, just what's in your general mind? Are you thinking, wow, I could just do this for years? Or are you like, you know what? I see this ending after this.
The original thought was a one shot.
Okay.
And it still kind of is like, now I'm thinking just a bunch of one shots. right? Like
Yeah.
the origin
Yeah.
is a one shot. This is going to be a one shot. And there
Right.
could just be, the adventures, right? The Chronicles of Panel Pete, just a different adventure he goes on,
Right.
in it is cool because it leaves it wide open for time periods. Like you can do a medieval one, you could do a Western one. Like after I read the Outlaw, there was a new Western book that came out last week, The Outlaws, I think by Oni Press. And
Okay.
just had like 4 like short stories in it for a few pages each. And I was like, man, like it'd be cool to have like Panel Pete in a Western. Like I want to draw a Western now because I like the Deadly Tales of a Gunslinger, and that one I was like,
Right.
I could put him in a Western somehow. So I have these ideas, and then when it was like, I've never written anything before, so I was just getting a lot of inspiration off social, like TikTok and stuff. Like Stephanie Phillips does a great job on her socials of her process, right? And one day she did a video. She's like, I take a notebook, I number it 1 through 24 or 1 through 20, however many pages the comic is going to be. And I just write the overarching theme of each page. And I was like, I can do that. Like I could at least do that, right? So I took a notebook 1 through 20, wrote it out. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Typed it. And I had a plane ride. I went to Seattle. So I'm on the East Coast. I'm in North Carolina. So it's like a almost 6-hour flight to Seattle. And I took that time and just took that outline and just, okay, here's page 1. This is what I want to happen. This is kind of the dialogue I'm thinking, Did that, plane ride there, back, a little bit more when I got back. Wrote out all 20 pages. I don't think I had the artist at that point. Maybe I did. It was right around that time.
Okay.
I was still trying to find an artist because if I were to try, I could eventually get to the point to do it, but it would take me a long time, and I really didn't want to take that long. So I was like, I'm going to hire an artist. So I did. Yeah, I like wrote it out, and then like he started reading it, and he like I said, he'll change a word here or there to make it make better sense, and we'll go back and forth. Like we even changed a whole word like on 2 different pages, like because it just didn't make sense anymore with the way we went with the cover that we were going with. That word didn't make sense, so we had to change it. So that's cool. He's been super great to work with, and but I'm hoping it'll be. I want to do the origin story. I got to get this one done. It'll be done around February, March timeframe. Hopefully sell a few so I can pay for, the more artwork. And but I do want to do the origin story, and I'm gonna probably start writing that out and take a little bit more time with it, maybe because I'm not in probably as big of a rush. And then maybe, who knows? Like I have these. If I can come up with a Western idea, like I don't have any idea how it would work other than I want to do a Western. So I don't know.
Yeah, well, like you said,
excuse me, sorry.
Like you said, one shots then. So you're thinking beginning, middle, end stories that, have some kind of a conclusion of sorts, or something like that.
Yep.
Cool.
That's like this one has a good ending, right? My daughter told me all of mine have to be a good ending, no cliffhangers. So.
No bad endings.
No bad endings, This one's more of a motivational book. So the basis is like this kid's getting bullied in school, just moved to a new town, goes into a comic shop, ends up buying the book, right? It's in his backpack, goes to school, Panel Pete comes out of the backpack, messes with the bullies, right? Kind of a coming of age story, teenage story, but in a good way. Motivational, morale boost, I guess.
Right.
And by the end, he goes back and turns in the comics. Like, I feel like somebody else could use this, right? So.
Right. Cool. I like it. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. The whole, when I did Bomb Queen, I say 30 issues. It's 30 issues of beginning, middle, ends of story arcs. So there was no like one big, adventure. It was like what you're saying, I'm going to do this now. I'm going to do that now. And have a conclusion or whatever, or have an ending. And
right.
yeah, I just recently, I was scripting something that didn't have that, and it was new for me. That's why I was asking you the question, because I was writing something that was kind of like, it was a dystopian kind of a dystopian kind of end of the world kind of a thing. And when the entire world has changed, there is no going back from that.
Right.
There is no like real conclusion. It's like The Walking Dead. There's, the world is over, and now the story is really just about the characters in that world. No one's gonna fix it.
Right. It's a new world. Like, how do you
Yeah, it's a
survive
new
the new
world.
world,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. There is no comeuppance or resolution here. And I got kind of in that. I was making a story that was ending up like that, and I'm going like, wow, I've never written this story that is just open ended like that, where I'm just like, nothing really changed except the characters. And that's just, I'd have to write for characters, not write for story and plot.
Right.
It'd be character arcs, not story arcs. That was as a writer, there was two different things I learned: character arcs versus story arcs. And I've always done story arcs my career. I've always had a beginning, middle, end mostly. But yeah, like Robert Kirkman, he just, I guess, saw right off, what he wanted was a shitload of characters going through this world, and there was going to be there's no end.
Right. It's
There
still
can't be an
going.
end. Yeah, there can't be an end to that. I mean, the world has changed. Yeah, so I've written this story where the world had dramatically changed. There's just no going back from that.
Right.
And I dropped that after a while because I'm going like, I'm not doing this.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. Like, I don't foresee it becoming like a ongoing series. I think it's going to be just,
Okay.
I mean, who knows? Maybe. I don't think, I don't know. Time wise, you don't like, can I write a series and do the podcast and do a day job? Well, hopefully I don't have to do a day job, eventually, but, it'll be interesting. But I do have definitely like one shot ideas in different settings, and just like, I really think the third one's going to be a Western of some sort, like, because that's just where my mind's at. I want to do the origin, which is like a medieval type wizard story. So, because I like that era too, in medieval. Like, I enjoyed the medieval Spawn as well. And there's a Dark Ages Spawn coming soon. That's going to be interesting. It's an interesting time period to mess with.
Right.
Yeah, the Western, I don't know. Maybe, and of course, I'm going to have to do a sci-fi one eventually. Like, panel piece got to go to space, right? Like, you can't not go to space.
Well, see, that's good. You're thinking that. I'll say personally, I think that's a good idea to do the one shots and the different themes and different genres. I think, I run into people sometimes, and they've already got this, mega Star Wars space opera,
right,
saga level
no
thing.
I can't do that. I mean, I could, but
that's their first jump in. Is like, yeah, I've got this 50 issue thing set up, and I'm like, you need to learn the craft first. And I think what you're doing, it makes sense. Just get in there, get your feet wet, do whatever, find out what you really love. And even if you don't find what you really love, you still did
stories and have them,
yeah,
right?
You did,
like,
yeah. You didn't walk away from something unfinished.
Right. And the cool thing, and this kind of ties over to something T.S. Luther says a lot too, like when he approached Invader, the Digger's a 4-issue series, right?
Right.
Artillery is 5-issue series, right? That's a lot easier to consume as a publisher, like those guys, when making decisions, they're the gatekeepers of getting your work out there. And if you come to them with a 50-issue, mega story, like, they're gonna be like, probably not, but
exactly.
4 issues, that's easy to swallow, 5 issues. And I've been curious, and I thought about messaging Mike about this. I've been talking to him on TikTok and email and stuff.
Really?
Well, just because, he got me in, hooked up with you to interview you, and with TS and Jared. And I mean, I gave him my booking link. Said anybody you want to send them. I really appreciate it. Having the guests and being able to have these conversations is awesome to me.
Right.
But like, I don't know how they feel, like how publishers feel about one shots. Like, I have no clue. So
yeah, it's they're out there.
Yeah, they're definitely out there.
That was something, that was one of the categories as an Eisner judge, was to read all the one shots.
Okay,
they're out there.
I'll mail it to you
Tons
so
of
you can get me an Eisner. Vote for me. That'd be awesome. I went from no, I don't even want a publisher to now I want an Eisner. Me and about a billion other people.
Yeah, it's in the Eisner's is a weird. It's a weird thing. There should be a whole book about that, because that whole process is. It's really a process of losers, and it just breaks your heart, because you can have like 20 books that you think deserve an Eisner, but in a certain category, you can only give it to 5.
Oh, wow.
And you're like, no, that book is just brilliant. But, you just can't have 20 books up there getting all
right.
whatever. Can't have 20 book categories. It's like, you got to get it down to 5. And then everybody still votes on those 5 nominees. And then there's one winner. And you're going like, as a judge, when you see how the sausage is made, you're just going like, man, but that other book was really so fucking good.
Right.
It's like,
I don't expect any Eisner awards for Panel Pete, but who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, well, there's the all ages categories, there's humor categories, educational categories. There's all. Trust me, man. When I've been in for, like I said, 30 years, but when I was a judge, that's where I really saw the entire spectrum of what comics were, because everybody was sending in books. I mean, there was books just in crayon. I mean, it was just
wow.
And it didn't get accepted. It didn't make it. Obviously, it didn't get accepted.
Right.
But, I mean, I saw the entire submissions list, because San Diego Comic-Con had like this entire rooms, a whole floor section dedicated to this process, and it's just. I mean, you saw everything from, just the handmade zines all the way to just huge, beautifully constructed slip cover books with hard leather jackets and all this. I mean, just like compendiums.
Does it cost
and stuff
to
like
enter?
Huh?
Does it cost to enter? Like, to submit my book?
It does.
You just submit
it. Does not cost to enter. Does not cost to enter. You just need to send 5 issues of it. For the year you're entering in, 5 issues of it, because there'll be 5 judges. There's always 5 judges.
So where do you tape the $100 bills to each page?
Gets a where do you stick the $100 bill? Well, now, like I said, that's the thing. It's a judging of losers.
Right.
It's a shame, because there's 5 judges, so you're never going to have an even split. And so even if I do love, I'm like, Panel Pete should be it. And it's like somebody else is going to speak up. And then somebody else speaks up, and then I'm drowned out.
Right.
So it's weird. It's like there's all these great books, and they all deserve to win, you ask me. But then, Jesus Christ. Yeah, it's heartbreaking. It really is. So
for sure.
And then, of course, you can submit by category, like lettering or coloring. You can submit that way. You can just say, hey, it's Panel Pete, but just look at the lettering.
Awesome.
So stuff like that. It's just a really unique experience, and I think a lot of people don't get to see how it's done. And
right.
Yeah, and then you get an Eisner Award, and you're just like, yay, running around. And it's fun. But the retailer one was weird, because you obviously can't go to all of the retail stores across the country and internationally. What they do is they send in these binders and these film reels of showing their store.
Wow.
And like you said, you had a store, and showing their community involvement with the store. Like maybe they're supporting a little league team, or they do this charity run, or they have certain books, or they have a book club, or the membership program or whatever. then you have to go through all the binders and binders and binders of everything they did that year,
right?
And then, how they work as a store. It was really strange.
That's gonna happen one day. That's like a retirement goal for me, I guess, would be
What?
a store, a comic shop.
Really?
Yep, I'm gonna do.
Really?
I loved having my store. I loved it. It was so much fun. The community that it built, the people I met, and I get that. So when I started this, for the last couple of years, I've been like, man, I really want to do my own thing again. I want to get something going, something, right? I didn't know what it was. I couldn't find it. Couldn't put my finger on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this, everybody's going to quit listening because they've heard this story 1,000 times now, or at least 58 times. I've done over 50 episodes in 7 months.
Nice. That's what I mean by doing the work.
I'm putting the work in. I'm doing a reel or short every day.
Nice.
2 to 3 episodes a week.
Nice.
It's I'm doing it plus my day job, which is fine. Plus writing a comic or and doing that, which that's not a lot of work, right? For me, it's hard work. I'm an artist. As long as I make the money to pay him.
Right.
But so I work in golf. Okay. So we manage golf academies. That's like my day job. And they wanted to start a golf podcast. Help them create. I'm the executive producer of, I never really did podcasting before. I've thought about it, just never had something to talk about. So they want to do a golf podcast. Okay. So I figured that, started learning, and my little girl come in, she's 10, and she walks in, she's like, I want to be on your podcast. And I'm like, yeah, that's never going to happen. It's on long-term golf development. It's just like, we have PGA Tour people on there. My 10-year-old, unfortunately, I love her. She's just not going to make the cut for the guest list for the golf sit down. But she's like, well, I want to be on something. I'm like, okay. I was like, well, let's start one. I was like, because I was getting really frustrated because my job's very corporate and there's like 10 layers of approval for everything. So I couldn't get anything done. Like literally, I'm going to release we started that in January, and we're going to release episode 18 this week. And I've released 58, right? So
of these, yeah.
I don't have 10 layers of approval for mine.
Exactly.
So I was like, we had just gotten into comic books. Our birthdays are 2 days apart in December, coming up next month. And we always just go somewhere, do some fun stuff. We ended up in a game store / comic shop because I still love, going to those. And she discovered a comic book. She saw it, pulled a Harley Quinn. She's like, what is this? I'm like, it's a comic book. She's like, can I get them? I'm like, yeah, get some. So she got a couple of them. And she fell in love with comic books, like being able to read these stories. She's like, these are awesome. So then we went on this mad dash. 2 days later, we had like 50 for her. And I was like, man, I got to find all my old comics. I had a bunch. And when I had my store, I had a little comic section, but not huge.
Okay.
So I had collected the the God of Thunder series, Thor series back, early teens, and I had a few, so I had a couple boxes, so I pulled them out, and I'm like, yeah, this is cool. Like, I started rereading them. I'm like, man, I forgot how cool comics were, so I didn't have the initiative to read them at the moment because until my kid got back into them. So when she came back in the room, so we were in, but then we got like pull lists and everything. So then we were like really into comics for like 3 months, 4 months. When she came in here, she's like, I want to be on your golf podcast. I'm like, yeah, it ain't going to happen. She's like, let's start our own. I'm like, yeah, why don't we? I was like, what do you want to do? She's like, comics. I'm like, done, sold. Let's do it. Like no thinking about it. Just, let's figure it out. Let's just do it. So I had a little setup, and it was really cool because my office here, this corner is all comic stuff, right? But if I were to turn the camera 90 degrees to the other corner, it's all golf setup. So I just shift over and have my golf background for my golf podcast. Just come over here for my comic podcast, right?
Nice.
So we just, I don't know, set up a phone or a webcam. I don't remember. We go back and watch episode 1 because it's just fun. And we just did it, and we've slowly developed, and I was 10 episodes in, and a guy reached out to me, a publicist. It was like, hey, do you want to have guests on, do interviews? I'm like, oh, I don't know about that. Because I was not a person a year ago. Like, I hated my voice. I hated the way I looked on camera. I was not that guy, right? Like, I did a little social stuff here and there, but nothing crazy. And I'm like, I'll try it. So I, Googled like questions to ask and, figured out, just came up with a list and did it.
Nice.
And it went really well. Just like I feel like this one went really, really well. Just the conversation, I'm getting better and better. I loved it. So I'm like, hey, send me more people. And now, I'm growing my TikTok to, over 1,000 followers and
nice.
a few hundred, like 300 on Instagram. And we're, just
that's excellent.
Slowly building it up. And like I said, I'm booked till mid-January at the moment.
Wow. Wow.
And that's doing 2 a month or 2 a week. I'm sorry, actually 3 a week. In October, November, we're doing 3 a week. December, I'm going back to 2 a week. Slow it down just a little bit for the holidays. And unless somebody calls and wants to be on, like if Mike calls me and says, hey, I got this guy, I need him on this day. All right, whatever you need, right?
Wow.
Like I'll do that for him because, he's helping me too,
Mike. Yeah, Mike's a good guy.
He is. He's been awesome to talk to. We message back and forth, email and stuff. And
yeah, he is. He's a good guy.
And if they're willing to help me, like this helps me. I would almost argue to some extent, this helps me more than it's helping some of the people, but at the same time, we're all in this together. I try to, we're building a community, comic community. We're in this together. We need to rise and fall together, and
exactly.
Yeah, I could get upset. Oh, this guy's got 2,000 followers. Why is that? What did I do wrong? No, we're all in this. It doesn't matter,
Not that. No, it's not that. Really.
I don't want to be. I want, it's really cool because T.S. Luther, I'm sure you've been on other podcasts, I'm sure, for this book, right? It's like we're just if I can help the person get one more sale or one more, knowledge, I'm happy, and hopefully they like what we're doing. So
you are part of the process,
right?
So and we're part of your process,
right?
So
I've been really happy with the progress, and like I said, we're gonna hit 60 some episodes before the end of the year probably, and which is really cool in 8 months. But this allowed me to test, because I love, just like in anything you do, you got to learn it, right? My my episode 1 is not the same as episode 50, right?
Exactly.
And episode 52, we had, Stephanie Phillips on, which was awesome. This is 58. We've got Jimmie Robinson on, it's like, you can't, that's awesome. I never thought I'd get there from episode 1, but I'm able to put things out there, test it. If it fails, I don't care. I'm learning. Right. I'm learning myself how to do this stuff, where the other one is I'd still be on episode 2, so the corporate one, we're on episode I don't know, I think it's 18. I'm releasing, maybe 19. I can't remember. I'm gonna release it. Well, probably not tomorrow. It'll be Wednesday, but, total different animal. And I was getting to that. I kind of hinted to it earlier in the episode. We were talking about the AI, because the comic community is a lot of them are against AI. Totally understandable. They're creators, they're artists, I get it. I totally understand it. And I agree with it. But I go over to the golf world, when I switch my Instagram profile from, Talkin Comics to Golf Sit Down, it's nothing but AI over there. And I'm like it really has hit me in the last couple weeks, because I'm, slowly getting back over to that side to create the reels. I don't do one a day. I do one a week for that one. But I'm I'm scrolling through, and even our marketing team sending me AI stuff. I'm like, I can't. Oh wait, I'm not in the comic world. I guess I could use this, but I'm scared to put my name on.
It's the new norm,
it's weird.
Yeah, I'm over here, where's this Silicon Valley territory in San Francisco Bay Area? Every billboard on the freeway is promoting AI.
Really?
Oh yeah. I mean, you're just driving down the street and there's billboards like, do you have your AI team yet? Do you have this? Why are you doing that and not using AI? AI doesn't need to take a vacation. Why do your employees do that? I'm just like, are you shitting me?
That is horrible.
I mean, it literally says that on the billboards, and I'm like, wow, this is a unique world. Yeah. AI is just gonna be how it is.
Right.
That's okay.
Yep.
I think you're not, that genie's not going back in the bottle.
Right, for sure.
Yeah. It's interesting you mentioned the golf. I'm gonna send you this pitch I created. It never went anywhere. It was just a pitch, but it was Golf Man. It was this guy. I was thinking of superheroes again at this one point, and there was this guy who, he's out on the golf course, and some meteorite or whatever comes down and hits him, or whatnot, and or no, that's right. It goes into the hole, it goes into the ninth hole or whatever it was, and instead of pulling out his ball, he pulls out the little thing that fell down from space, and it grants him these powers or whatever. And it goes to his golf club, like
Right.
Thor has a hand, whatever. He has the golf club. And the thing was, I was trying to create a hero who was dealing with white collar crimes, because he was dealing with CEO level problems,
Right.
not like on the street Batman, vigilante style. He had superpowers for the corporate world.
Right.
And he was Golf Man, and he's like, I'll send it to you, because I even drew a little picture for it and all that stuff. And he's got this golf club and all that.
So funny enough, like I've talked to my boss and stuff. They know I'm doing all this comic stuff, and it's like you need to write a comic book on our company. I'm like, I could. Like, we have a good story because we teach a lot of kids, and we start them close to the hole, just like Tiger learned, and we promote the easy way to learn it's the best way to learn golf, period, right? Like for these kids and adults too. And but yeah, we've thought about doing a comic book and figuring it out, but yeah, so I'm gonna hire you to do it, so it'll be awesome.
Well, like I said, I was just playing around with concepts and ideas. I wasn't gonna do it.
Well, now we got a good idea, though. We got the idea in the story, because now you have Golf Man, bring him to life. That'd be awesome. I thought about doing there's been some epic moments. I've been with this company for almost 10 years, and I discovered them because my oldest daughter wanted to start playing golf, and I put my daughter in the program, right? And they were very small. They were only at like 2 or 3 locations at the time, all locally here. And it was like, I don't know, I just fell in love with what it did with my daughter. And like, her coach was amazing. I'm still good friends, work with him every day now. And it was just amazing. So, but there's been some epic, stories that have happened, over the 10 years. And I've made a couple, like I did one digital drawing of one of the epic moments. And I thought about turning it into a comic book about a year ago. And, but I was like, man, it took me like a week to do that. And and I didn't even do a face, because I got to figure out how to make faces, but, not that I can't figure that out yet. I did get the head tear-shaped instead of just a circle. So, I mean, we're moving up in the world.
Hey, man, it's all a process. It is.
And, but yeah, I've thought about doing that. So I have to figure it out one of these days when we have time. Got to get Panel Pete out there first.
Yeah. That's yeah. When you're a writer, you can come up with a lot of ideas, but ultimately at one point you got to say, this has got to get done.
Right.
So
I'm super
get
excited
Panel Pete
about that.
done. Yeah, get it done, get it out there.
Are you on?
I want to see it.
Are you on any socials?
Let me see. I'm on TikTok.
Awesome. I'm about to follow
I'm
you.
on Blues. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah. Well, but the thing is, I don't have any comic book stuff on TikTok.
Oh, well,
It's just some fairy houses.
that's
But
cool.
I'm
I
gonna
want to see
change.
that too. So,
But I but I'm gonna change it. I don't even have that many fairy houses. I just try to lurk on TikTok more than be a content creator.
right.
But I'm gonna change that. So I was on Meta for a while, but I dropped all my Meta stuff.
Okay.
So personal reasons,
Yeah.
whatever. So yeah, apparently I'm right now since February. Yeah, I'm in this complete limbo right now where I'm trying to rebuild and redesign where I am in social media.
Yeah.
And I don't have a home yet.
Okay.
So,
What was the one I just heard about?
Well, there's so
There's
many
so
out
many
there.
now.
Yeah, there's so many trying to get out there and do things now. Even AI is really a social media site.
Right.
If you go to Sora and the Chat GPT, those are actually social media sites. They're people, they talk to each other and they're showing their work together and all that stuff. It's just like any other social media site, but just with the AI.
All right, these are awesome. By the way, these fairy houses, I just found them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Grandpa Jerry.
Google or
TikTok.
TikTok. Oh, there you go.
So Jimmie
Yeah,
Robinson.
that's just a few. And I mean, I'm really bad at documenting the work I do.
Right.
My wife is always on my case. She's like, "Did you take pictures this time?" "No, but I put another one out." She's like, "They will see them all if you don't take pictures of them all."
You just got to walk around the neighborhood now, and
Yeah, you have to
film
go to the
them.
neighborhood and see all the houses and whatnot, and they keep evolving and changing. Some of them have been out there for 7, 8 years.
Right.
So some of them are really old, and I had to do maintenance on them and stuff because they're just the weather.
Yeah.
Just like a regular house.
Yep.
You got to fix the roof or whatever, or fix the leaky window or whatever.
So you're on TikTok. I don't have Blue Sky, but I found you on TikTok, so we'll link that if you don't
Yeah,
mind.
I mean, again though, I mean, I really need to find a home, create a base. I mean, I need to build my Patreon or build a Substack.
Right.
Or all these things I need to be doing that I'm just not doing, and I'm like, Jimmie, just.
Yeah, I'm torn between the Patreon and Substack thing too. I don't know which. I have a Patreon built at the moment, but
Right.
nothing's really going on there at the moment. But then
Yeah, I know.
somebody told me
I
to
mean,
do Substack, but then another person's like, "Don't do Substack." I'm like,
exactly.
I don't know which one to do.
There's every statue's feet of clay, and so you're like, it's like,
Right.
oh, you can't, there's this problem there, there's this problem there, and I'm like, I'm almost ready to just go back to Facebook
Oh,
and whatnot.
yeah.
I'm in this really weird position right now,
Yeah.
not having a true home. I don't even have a website.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That was my
man,
next question, actually. It was like, where to get your books? Where do people find
No,
them?
I don't have a web. I mean, I've got a Wikipedia page, but but I don't even have a website, so it's weird.
Well,
And yeah,
people can get your books in comic shops. You can tell them Invader Comics. You can pull
yes.
this on League of Comic Geeks. It's on my pull list, which is awesome. I love that website and being able to do that makes it so
Cool.
easy to pull. I know Digger just got on there. I don't know if Do Not Disturb if his book, Jared's book, got on there yet or not. Hoping it did. But I told my shop to order it, so hopefully they did.
I think it's great.
And then, so if they want you like your image work or any of that kind of stuff, just go to Image or.
I mean, yeah, it's still. Yeah, God, that stuff is still, like I said, I'm still getting paid for those books.
Well, I'm gonna have to find some of it. So I wrote some down.
They're out there, man. And the thing is, as the writer artist, I don't have to split with anybody.
Right.
It's really weird. But also as the writer, artist, creator, I'm stuck with everything. So I have in the basement, I have this, piles and piles of artwork I've been trying to get rid of. I mean, I go to conventions, actually give it away sometimes.
Wow.
It's just yeah, buy a piece of art. Here, take this one too. Take this one too.
Right.
It's like, I'm stuck with a lot of the art, and it's weird. It's weird having all this original art sitting down here. But the thing is, most people just want the splash pages, the action pages, the covers. And so I get stuck with all these walk and talks and plot part and the story part of
Right.
this comic. And nobody wants the talking head or the walk and talk or whatever.
I'm gonna have to find you at a convention one day and get a piece. That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll do a couple conventions. We'll cross paths, hopefully.
Yeah, you know what? I really do want to get to the Midwest and the East Coast.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not out there enough.
Right.
Like I said, did New York Comic Con 1 year. That was ages ago. Complete different world now. So yeah.
Baltimore. I don't know what's in the Midwest much. I know that one in Michigan. I don't know.
Well, I know I want to.
I was gonna say, I know TS wants to do the one in Traverse City in May. I'll have to. We're trying to get. We might get Invader involved and try to get them to get a booth and make you come.
Nice.
We'll make you come to that one. How about that?
You know the one I want to go to is in Charlotte.
Oh, the Heroes Con.
Heroes Con, yeah.
Yeah. So
because Heroes Con is still mostly comic centralized. Unless, I mean, there's still Hollywood and other media types there, but still it's a lot more focused on the actual comics and creators. I'm like,
that.
I've never done that, never done C2E2, stuff like that. Never did Dragon Con or,
in Atlanta.
That's over in Florida or whatnot. There's places I get, they send me stuff, they send me emails all the time.
Right.
I just haven't gotten out there.
I have family in Oklahoma, so I go there a lot, and I'm hoping. I got to look at the schedule because I think Heroes Con and then there's one in Oklahoma, I think the same time. So I'll have to figure out which one to go to. But
yeah.
Because I'm only 3 hours from Charlotte. I'm just on the east side of Raleigh, southeast side of Raleigh.
Nice, very nice. Yeah, comic conventions have changed, but they're still cool to go to.
Yep.
They're still cool to go to.
We're going to one this weekend. We went to one last weekend, just a comic book show, and then there's a Comic-Con kind of thing, NC Comic-Con.
Right.
This weekend.
Well,
So.
Good. Yeah, I like that people could find their interest now because there's so many different things going on at the comic convention. I mean, a lot of people will say, yeah, comic conventions aren't about comics anymore. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. They're now, in this little section over here or whatever. There's Artist Alley over there or Independent Corner over there. But I still think it's cool to see all the other media there as well because it's still, we all should just support each other,
Well, like you said,
anime,
that pendulum will swing back and forth, and
it will swing a lot. Yeah. Things will change.
Well, awesome, Jimmie. This has been amazing. I really appreciate the time. We went 2 hours, so
Did we now?
Yeah, it's 8:20 my time. So
look at that.
We almost made it to the original start time. So you're
I am so sorry.
No, don't worry about it. That's the way it goes, man. It was awesome. But no, this was an awesome talk. You were awesome to talk to. I'd love to have you back on. Maybe when Artillery finishes and I have all 5 issues, maybe we'll have you back on and we can talk about the transitions and all that stuff. So if you don't mind.
Yeah, the transitions, and there might be a change that I'm going to try and do in issue 4.
Ooh.
That I think I'm going to talk to Mike about changing something. I think it just doesn't work anymore.
Ooh, all right.
So yeah, I might be able to say, hey, and here's the art showing what was supposed to be there versus what you got in print, kind of a thing.
Okay.
Or here's the story, or here's how I changed the story because of blah, blah, blah.
Well, awesome. Let's stay in touch. I followed you on TikTok, so I'm going to harass you about getting more Fairy House pictures. And
cool. And I got your email.
Yep, you do. Yep.
So I'm gonna send you that golf band thing.
Please do. I can't wait to see that. So that would be awesome. But
yeah, it's pretty funny.
Thanks so much for joining. It's been a blast.
Thank you. I love this. This is great.
Awesome.
In a world of heroes, villains, and epic stories,
Braha, Anakan, and their ultimate sidekick, Panel Pete,
take you on adventures each week.
Showing off their comic book hauls,
Fun trivia and games, honest reviews,
and inspiring conversations with creators and consumers who make it all possible.
Join in on the conversation.
This is Talkin Comics.
Trying to start a podcast but feeling stuck? At Aquadio, we help creators make waves with everything you need to bring your voice to life. Hosting, recording, editing, and marketing. Whether you're starting from scratch or just need a little help polishing your sound, we're here to hydropower your creativity. Comment on this video or DM us today and let's dive in.